The discovery in the Crimson Fields. The twin suns of Kepler 442b cast long shadows across the automated harvest fields as Captain Marcus Webb guided his maintenance drone through the endless rows of genetically modified wheat. The colony ship, Endeavor's Hope, had been his home for 3 years now, ever since the agricultural vessel had settled into orbit around this distant world. His job was simple: monitor the harvest, maintain the equipment, and ensure the food supply remained steady for the 50,000 souls aboard the massive vessel. The crimson wheat swayed in the artificial breeze generated by the atmospheric processors, each stalk reaching nearly twice the height of Earth's grain. The genetic modifications had been necessary to survive in the alien soil, but Marcus still marveled at how beautiful the fields looked under the alien sky. The harvest drones moved with mechanical precision, their plasma cutters slicing through, the stalks in perfect formation. That's when he saw her. At first, Marcus thought it was debris from one of the older drones, a pale form lying motionless between the towering stalks, partially hidden by the dense growth. But as his maintenance unit drew closer, his breath caught in his throat. It was a person, small and fragile, curled up in a protective ball with her back to the approaching harvester. "Emergency stop! All units halt!" Marcus shouted into his communicator, his voice cracking with urgency. The massive harvesting machine groaned to a stop just meters away from the mysterious figure, its plasma cutters still humming with residual energy. Marcus leaped from his hover platform, his boots sinking into the soft alien soil. The figure was a young woman, but unlike any human he had ever seen. Her skin had a slight blue tint, and her hair was silver white, flowing like liquid mercury around her shoulders. Strange markings covered her arms and neck, glowing faintly with an inner light that pulsed with her heartbeat. She was wearing what appeared to be a simple gray tunic, torn and stained with something that looked like dried blood. Her feet were bare, and Marcus could see cuts and bruises covering her exposed skin. But what struck him most was how thin she was, as if she hadn't eaten in days or perhaps weeks. "Hey," Marcus whispered, dropping to his knees beside her. "Can you hear me? You're safe now." The alien woman's eyes fluttered open, revealing irises of the deepest violet he had ever seen. They were filled with fear and confusion, darting around as if expecting an attack at any moment. She tried to speak, but only a weak croak emerged from her parched throat. Marcus quickly activated his emergency medical kit, pulling out a water purification tablet and a nutrition paste. "Easy now," he said gently, lifting her head slightly. "Drink this slowly. You're dehydrated." As she sipped the water, her eyes never left his face. There was intelligence there, and something else, a desperate hope that someone, anyone, might show her kindness instead of cruelty. "My name is Marcus," he said softly. "I'm going to help you. Can you tell me your name?" The woman's lips moved silently for a moment before she managed to whisper, "Zara. My name is Zara. Sanctuary among the stars." Marcus carried Zara back to his living quarters in the agricultural section of the Endeavor's Hope. The corridors were mostly empty at this hour, with only the soft hum of the ship's life support systems and the distant murmur of the night shift workers. His quarters were modest but comfortable, designed for long-term space habitation with a fold-out bed, a small kitchen unit, and a viewport looking out at the alien world below. He gently placed Zara on his bed and activated the medical scanner he kept for work-related injuries. The device hummed as it analyzed her vital signs, and Marcus frowned at the readings. Her biochemistry was similar to human, but with significant differences in her blood composition and neural patterns. Most concerning were the signs of prolonged malnutrition and what appeared to be restraint marks around her wrists and ankles. "The scanner says you're stable," Marcus said, offering her another sip of water. "But you've been through something terrible, haven't you?" Zara's violet eyes filled with tears but she held them back with obvious effort. They threw me away, she whispered, her voice carrying a melodic quality despite her weakness. My own people declared me worthless and left me to die in your harvest fields. Marcus felt anger rising in his chest. Your own people did this to you? Why? I am, how do you say, defective, Zara said, the word obviously painful for her to speak. In my species, females who cannot bear children are considered burdens. When the genetic tests showed I was sterile, the Council of Matriarchs ordered my exile. They drugged me and dropped me on your world, expecting the machines to finish what they started. The casual cruelty of it made Marcus's hands clench into fists. Throughout human history, there had been terrible injustices. But to abandon someone, simply because they couldn't reproduce, seemed utterly alien to him. Well, you're not worthless, he said firmly, and you're not going anywhere. This is your home now, for as long as you want it to be. Zara stared at him in disbelief. You would do this for a stranger? For an alien who brings nothing but trouble? You're not trouble, Marcus replied. You're a person who deserves compassion and safety. That's what humans do. We take care of each other, no matter where we come from. Over the following days, Marcus helped Zara recover her strength. He shared his meals with her, taught her basic English words she didn't know, and showed her how the ship's systems worked. In return, she told him about her people, the Valhari, a spacefaring species that had achieved great technological advancement but had become obsessed with genetic purity and reproductive efficiency. My people see individuals only as components in a larger biological machine, Zara explained as they watched the alien sunset through the viewport. Humans seem to value each person for who they are, not what they can produce. Marcus nodded. Every human life has value regardless of what they can or can't do. We've learned that our differences make us stronger, not weaker. Zara reached out tentatively and touched his hand. I have never experienced such kindness. Among my people, I was invisible, forgotten. Here, with you, I feel alive. As the days passed, Marcus realized he was falling in love with this remarkable woman who had literally fallen from the sky into his world. Love blooms in the darkness of space. 3 weeks had passed since Marcus found Zara in the wheat fields, and she had transformed from a broken, frightened refugee into a vibrant woman full of curiosity and wonder. Her skin had regained its healthy blue tint, and the mysterious markings on her arms glowed more brightly now that she was properly nourished. She had proven to be incredibly intelligent, quickly learning to operate the agricultural systems and even suggesting improvements to the crop rotation schedules. The plasma frequency on Harvester Unit 7 is slightly off, Zara said, pointing to the readings on Marcus's diagnostic tablet. If you adjust it by 2%, you'll increase efficiency by 15% and reduce power consumption. Marcus made the adjustment and watched in amazement as the harvester's performance immediately improved. How did you know that? My people may have treated me poorly, but they still gave me an excellent education, Zara replied with a sad smile. I was trained as a biotechnician before they discovered my condition. That evening, as they shared dinner in his quarters, Marcus found himself studying Zara's face in the soft light. She had become beautiful to him not just physically, but in the way she approached every new experience with wonder and joy. She had never tasted chocolate before arriving on the ship, and watching her face light up when he gave her a piece had been one of the most precious moments of his life. Marcus, Zara said suddenly, interrupting his thoughts. Why do you look at me that way? He felt heat rise in his cheeks. What way? Like I am something precious, like I matter to you beyond simple kindness. Marcus set down his fork and looked directly into her violet eyes. Because you do matter to me, more than I ever expected. Zara, I think I'm falling in love with you. She was quiet for a long moment, her luminescent markings pulsing more rapidly. Among my people, love is considered a weakness. Emotional attachments are discouraged because they interfere with optimal genetic matching. And what do you think? Marcus asked gently. Zara reached across the small table and took his hand in both of hers. Her skin was warm and impossibly soft. I think my people were wrong about many things. I think love might be the most important thing in the universe. She leaned forward and kissed him, her lips tasting faintly of the exotic fruits from the ship's hydroponics bay. When they parted, her markings were glowing brighter than he had ever seen them. Is that normal? Marcus asked, gesturing to the patterns of light on her skin. Zara laughed, a sound like wind chimes in a gentle breeze. It happens when we experience strong emotions, joy, love, excitement. My people consider it embarrassing, but I think it's beautiful. It is beautiful, Marcus agreed. You're beautiful. That night, they held each other close, watching the stars wheel past the viewport. For the first time in her life, Zara felt truly wanted and loved. For Marcus, she represented everything good about humanity's mission to explore the stars, the chance to build bridges between different worlds and different peoples. But their happiness would soon be tested. Unknown to them, a Vilahari scout ship had been tracking the energy signature from Zara's genetic markers, following the trail that would lead them directly to the Endeavor's hope. When two worlds collide, the alarm klaxons shattered the peaceful morning routine aboard the Endeavor's hope. Marcus bolted upright in bed as red warning lights bathed his quarters in an ominous glow. Beside him, Zara's markings flashed in rapid patterns that he had learned indicated extreme distress. Unknown vessel approaching on intercept course, the ship's AI announced. Hull configuration matches Vilahari design parameters. All personnel. Report to stations! Zara sat up, her face pale with terror. They found me, she whispered. The council must have sent hunters. Marcus was already pulling on his uniform. Stay here. I need to report to the command center. No, Zara said firmly, standing and reaching for the human-style clothing Marcus had requisitioned for her. This is about me. I won't hide while others face danger because of my presence. They made their way through corridors filled with concerned crew members heading to emergency stations. The Endeavor's hope was primarily an agricultural vessel with minimal defensive capabilities. Their weapons were designed to clear debris and hostile wildlife from planetary surfaces, not to engage in ship-to-ship combat. Captain Rebecca Torres stood at the center of the command bridge, her weathered face grim as she studied the tactical display. Webb, report. What do you know about our uninvited guests? Captain, this is Zara, Marcus said, gently guiding the alien woman forward. She's Vilahari, and I believe they're here for her. Captain Torres studied Zara with sharp eyes. Are you a threat to my ship or crew? No, Captain, Zara replied, her English now fluent after weeks of practice. But my presence here may have created a threat. My people, they do not tolerate deviation from their social order. The communications officer looked up from her station. Captain, they're hailing us. Put them through. The main screen flickered to life, revealing a tall, imposing Vilahari female with elaborate ceremonial markings covering her face and arms. Her expression was cold and imperious. I am Matriarch Kyla of the Purification Council, the alien said, her voice carrying an otherworldly resonance. You harbor a genetic deviant who was lawfully exiled from our society. Return her immediately or face the consequences. Captain Torres stepped forward, her posture radiating authority despite being faced with an obviously superior military vessel. This is Captain Rebecca Torres of the Earth colonial ship Endeavor's Hope. The individual you refer to sought sanctuary aboard my vessel and is under the protection of human law. The matriarch's eyes narrowed. Human law has no authority over Vilahari citizens. The defective female belongs to us. No, Marcus said suddenly, stepping into view of the camera. "She belongs to herself, and she's chosen to stay with us." Zara moved to stand beside him, taking his hand. Her markings pulsed with steady, determined light. "I am no longer Vilhari," she said clearly. "I have found acceptance and love among humans. I renounce my birth citizenship and claim sanctuary, under human protection." The matriarch's face twisted with disgust. "You would contaminate yourself with alien contact? You are more defective than we realized." Captain Torres had heard enough. "This conversation is over. The individual in question has requested asylum, which we're granting. I suggest you leave our space immediately." "You have made an enemy today, humans," the matriarch said coldly. "The Vilhari do not forget such insults." The transmission cut off, but the alien ship remained in position. On the tactical display, weapons systems were powering up. "All hands brace for combat," Captain Torres announced. "This is not a drill." The power of human determination. The first energy blast from the Vilhari warship struck the Endeavor's Hope's outer hull, sending shockwaves through the massive agricultural vessel. Emergency lights flickered as the ship's defensive systems struggled to adapt to weapons technology far more advanced than anything in Earth's arsenal. "Hull breach on Deck 7, reported the damage control officer. "Sealing emergency bulkheads now." Captain Torres gripped her command chair as another blast rocked the ship. "Return fire with everything we have. Target their weapons systems." The Endeavor's Hope's modest defensive lasers lanced out toward the sleek Vilhari vessel, but the energy beams simply dissipated against their advanced shielding. It was like trying to fight a tiger with a pocket knife. "Captain," Zara said urgently, "their shields operate on a rotating frequency modulation. If I can access your weapons control system, I might be able to synchronize our weapons to penetrate their defenses." "Do it," Torres ordered without hesitation. Zara's fingers flew over the tactical console with inhuman speed, her genetic knowledge of Vilhari technology combined with human ingenuity. "Marcus, I need you to manually adjust the power coupling on the main laser array. The frequency must change every 2.3 seconds exactly." Marcus sprinted from the bridge, racing through corridors filled with smoke and sparking conduits. The ship shuddered around him as more enemy fire found its mark. He reached the weapons control room and began making the precise adjustments Zara had specified, trusting completely in her knowledge and skill. "Now!" Zara shouted over the comm system. The Endeavor's Hope's lasers fired again, but this time they burned through the Vilhari shields like paper. The enemy ship's weapons systems exploded in brilliant cascades of energy, leaving them dead in space. But the victory was short-lived. Through the bridge's main viewport, they could see escape pods, launching from the disabled Vilhari vessel, heading directly for the Endeavor's Hope. "They're boarding us," Captain Torres said grimly. "All security teams to defensive positions." What followed was unlike anything in human military history. The Vilhari warriors who boarded the ship were faster and stronger than humans, with advanced energy weapons and personal shields. But they had made a crucial mistake. They had underestimated human determination and the power of fighting for someone you love. Marcus armed himself with a maintenance plasma cutter and joined the security teams defending the ship's critical systems. He fought with a ferocity he didn't know he possessed, driven by the knowledge that they were trying to take Zara away from him. Throughout the ship, human crew members who had never been soldiers fought like warriors. Engineers used their tools as weapons. Agricultural specialists turned their knowledge of chemistry into improvised explosives. Even the ship's cook joined the fight, wielding kitchen knives with deadly efficiency. But it was Zara who turned the tide of battle. Using her intimate knowledge of Vilhari physiology and technology, she guided the human defenders to the aliens' weak points. She hacked their communication systems, causing confusion in their ranks. Most importantly, she showed the crew that they were fighting not just for one person, but for the principle that every individual has the right to choose their own destiny. The Final confrontation came in the ship's central hub, where matriarch Killa herself had cornered Zara and Marcus. The alien leader raised her energy weapon, her face twisted with hatred. "You will not contaminate our genetic purity with your defective existence," she snarled. "My existence is not defective," Zara replied calmly, stepping protectively in front of Marcus. "It's different, and difference is what makes life beautiful." In that moment, something extraordinary happened. The other Valhari warriors, seeing their matriarch about to execute an unarmed female, began to lower their weapons. Even in their rigid society, there were lines that decent beings would not cross. "Stand down, matriarch," one of the warriors said quietly. "This is not honorable." Killa spun around, fury blazing in her eyes. "You dare question my authority?" "I question the wisdom of a leader who would murder the innocent," the warrior replied. The standoff ended when Captain Torres arrived with a full security team. The remaining Valhari surrendered, their unity broken by doubt about their own actions. Later, as the alien prisoners were being transported back to their disabled ship, Zara stood with Marcus on the observation deck, watching the stars together. "What happens now?" Marcus asked. "Now we build something new," Zara replied, her markings glowing with soft, steady light. "A place where beings from different worlds can come together not as conquerors or subjects, but as equals. A place where love matters more than genetics, and where every person has value." Marcus put his arm around her and smiled. "Sounds like a pretty good future to me." In the distance, Earth's colony ships continued their journey to the stars, carrying with them not just human hopes and dreams, but the promise that wherever they went, they would offer sanctuary to any being in need. And in that promise lay the true strength of humanity, not in their weapons or their technology, but in their capacity for compassion and their unwavering belief that every life has worth. The universe was vast and full of wonders yet to be discovered. And somewhere among the stars, love had found a way to bloom, proving that the greatest force in the cosmos was not gravity or nuclear fusion, but the simple human decision to care for one another, no matter how different they might be.